I think we all felt the same pride in our king and in his heir and in all the other royals who turned up and did their duty. Not so much the one who turned up for a few hours and skulked around and snarled and mumbled his way through an anthem he didn't want to sing and didn't want to really pay any tribute to his father or anybody else before getting back on his plane back to California. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't like to intrude in the private grief of somebody who just realised he's turned into Roger Irrelevant. At a time when so much about this country feels like it's not working, when we've had to endure so much through a cost of living crisis, a pandemic, a war raging in Europe, we managed to pull off another spectacular state event, the third in the space of a year, and they're all flawless. We've got plenty to be hopping mad about, but this weekend shows the monarchy is not one of them. I'm joined now by TalkTV contributor Esther Krakow, TalkTV presenter Rosanna Lockwood, and Kevin Maguire, who, of course, from the Associated Editor of Daily Mirror, is hopping mad about the Royals because you can't stand it. You must have even you, Maguire, must have looked at those events on Saturday and thought, I've backed the wrong horse here.
No, it left me completely cold. It shows you what you're going to achieve if you spend an awful lot of public money, though, at £250 million. It's a shame we don't put that into more public services.
Actually, money incredibly well spent. Yeah. For what that showed the world about a country that's been ridiculed post-Brexit, ridiculed in many other ways, for losing our power, losing our status. We showed the world if there's one thing we do better than anybody else out there, it's that kind of...
What, we're a Disney state, a Disney country.
We're not a Disney country.
You know, with a king who gets the job because his mother had it and she got it because her father had it. I mean, what's that say about Britain?
I'm sorry, but I think I would rather that than to be in France, where literally people are setting fire to the country in protest of their president, or in the US, where I don't want to even talk about a President
Trump.
They're
not setting fire to anything in France.
I'm sorry.
Because they don't have a monarchy. I don't think
they beheaded their monarchs.
I would argue
they beheaded their monarchs.
I'd argue we have both of those here. We have protesters that could set fire to things if they wanted. We also have a monarchy, which is a really powerful soft power tool.
Exactly.
I understand the arguments against hereditary power, Kev, but it is very important for our economy, for our outward-looking face. You know, I'm probably one of these globalists, but I think it's one of the most powerful tools we've got.
More people go to Legoland in Windsor than go to Windsor Castle. I mean, I think this tourist is just massively overplayed.
I think they're free to do that.
Look, here's my view. You're entitled to your opinion. We live in a democracy. I believe in free speech. We've always disagreed about this, but we've stayed sort of cordial over the years. OK, I mean, it's a tricky one, Esker. The police have got a very fine line. I'm told the police at these events foil all sorts of stuff that we never hear about. Some of it very serious. So they're very twitchy, obviously, and concerned not to allow anything to spiral. But it did seem a bit of an overreach, this.
The thing is, but he said that the police are not actually allowed to arrest you on a hunch. Actually, they are, because it's better to be safe than sorry. And I think if they were in a situation where they were spooking the horses or actually posed some sort of threat, or if the police said that a lot of their criteria was someone that looked unusual, they do have a duty primarily to protect the wider public. Now, obviously, there will be an investigation into this because that's the kind of country we live in, which is a very good thing. But I do think that the police were erring on the side of caution, and I don't have a problem with it.
Rosanna, I saw you sort of nodding along to Grace. What do you feel?
Yeah, I've lived in some, worked as a journalist in pretty dark and autocratic regimes. And when I heard about the police using sort of facial recognition software and this type of thing, I understand that this is the way that most modern democracies are going, but I think that's quite worrying and concerning. We've managed to police major events like this with these types of protesters for decades without needing that kind of software, without needing preemptive arresting. I agree with Esther in saying there will be inquiries into this and that's a good thing. But when people say, oh, well, if you don't like being a protester here, try doing that in Russia, well, thanks very much. I don't want this to be like Russia.
Yeah, I sort of